Harrison Ford, born July 13, 1942, is an American actor. Considered a leading man in films of several genres, he is regarded as an American cultural icon. His films have grossed more than $5.4 billion in North America and more than $9.3 billion worldwide. Ford is the recipient of various accolades, including the AFI Life Achievement Award, the Cecil B. DeMille Award, an Honorary César, and an Honorary Palme, in addition to an Academy Award nomination. Ford made his film debut in an uncredited appearance in Dead Heat on a Merry-Go-Round, 1966, and went on to play supporting roles in such films as Journey to Shiloh, 1968, Getting Straight, 1970, American Graffiti, 1973, and The Conversation, 1974. He gained worldwide fame for his starring role as Han Solo in the epic space opera film Star Wars, 1977, a role he reprised in 4 sequels over the next 4 decades. The multimedia franchise became a global cultural phenomenon. Ford is also known for his portrayal of the titular character in the popular media franchise Indiana Jones, beginning with the action-adventure film Raiders of the Lost Ark, 1981. He played the character in 4 additional sequels over the next 4 decades and also starred as Rick Deckard in the cult science fiction film Blade Runner, 1982, and its sequel Blade Runner 2049, 2017, and portrayed Jack Ryan in the spy thriller films Patriot Games, 1992, and Clear and Present Danger, 1994. Ford's on-screen career spans 6 decades in both film and television. His other films include Witness, 1985, for which he received a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Actor, The Mosquito Coast, 1986, Working Girl, 1988, Presumed Innocent, 1990, Regarding Henry, 1991, The Fugitive, 1993, Sabrina, 1995, The Devil's Own, 1997, Air Force One, 1997, 6 Days, 7 Nights, 1998, Random Hearts, 1999, What Lies Beneath, 2000, K, 19, The Widowmaker, 2002, Firewall, 2006, Morning Glory, 2010, Cowboys and Aliens, 2011, 42, 2013, The Age of Adeline, 2015, and The Call of the Wild, 2020. Ford has since starred in the Paramount Plus Western series 1923, 2022, Present, and the Apple TV Plus comedy series Shrinking, 2023, Present. Outside of acting, Ford is a licensed pilot. He has often assisted the emergency services in rescue missions near his home in Wyoming, and he chaired an aviation education program for youth from 2004 to 2009. Ford is also an environmental activist, having served as the inaugural vice chair of Conservation International since 1991. Harrison Ford was born at the Swedish Covenant Hospital in Chicago, Illinois, on July 13, 1942, to former radio actress Dorothy née Neidleman and advertising executive and former actor John William Christopher Ford. His younger brother, Terence, was born in 1945. Their father was a Catholic of Irish descent, while their mother was an Ashkenazi Jew whose parents were immigrants from Minsk, Belarus, then in the Russian Empire. When asked in which religion he and his brother were raised, Ford jokingly responded Democrat and more seriously stated that they were raised to be liberals of every stripe. When asked about what influence his Jewish and Irish Catholic ancestry may have had on him, he quipped, "As a man, I've always felt Irish. As an actor, I've always felt Jewish." Ford was a Boy Scout, achieving the second highest rank of Life Scout. He worked at Napawan Adventure Base Scout Camp as a counselor for the Reptile Study Merit Badge. Because of this, he and director Steven Spielberg later decided to depict the young Indiana Jones as a Life Scout in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 1989. Ford graduated in 1960 from Maine East High School in Park Ridge, Illinois. His voice was the first student voice broadcast on his high school's new radio station, WMTH, and he was its first sportscaster during his senior year. He attended Ripon College in Ripon, Wisconsin, where he was a philosophy major and a member of the Sigma Nu fraternity. A self-described late bloomer, Ford took a drama class in the final quarter of his senior year to get over his shyness and became fascinated with acting. Ford was expelled from college 4 days before graduation. In 1964, after a season of summer stock with the Belfry Players in Wisconsin, Ford traveled to Los Angeles and eventually signed a contract with Columbia Pictures' New Talent program. His first known role was an uncredited one as a bellhop in Dead Heat on a Merry-Go-Round, 1966. There is little record of his non-speaking or extra roles in film. Ford was at the bottom of the hiring list, having offended producer Jerry Tokofsky after he played a bellboy in the feature. He was told by Tokofsky that when actor Tony Curtis delivered a bag of groceries, he did it like a movie star. Ford felt his job was to act like a bellboy. His speaking roles continued next with Love, 1967, though he was still uncredited. He was finally credited as Harrison J. Ford in the 1967 Western film A Time for Killing, starring Glenn Ford, George Hamilton, and Inger Stevens, but the J did not stand for anything since he has no middle name. It was added to avoid confusion with a silent film actor named Harrison Ford, who appeared in more than 80 films between 1915 and 1932 and died in 1957. Ford soon dropped the J and worked for Universal Studios, playing minor roles in many television series throughout the late 1960s and early 1970s, including Gunsmoke, Ironside, The Virginian, The FBI, Love, American Style, and Kung Fu. He appeared in The Western Journey to Shiloh, 1968, and had an uncredited, non-speaking role in Michelangelo Antonioni's 1970 film Zabriskie Point as an arrested student protester. In 1968, he also worked as a camera operator for one of the Doors tours. French filmmaker Jacques Demy chose Ford for the lead role of his first American film, Model Shop, 1969, but the head of Columbia Pictures thought Ford had no future in the film business and told Demy to hire a more experienced actor. The part eventually went to Gary Lockwood. Ford later commented that the experience had been nevertheless a positive one because Demy was the first to show such faith in him. Not happy with the roles offered to him, Ford became a self-taught professional carpenter to support his then-wife and 2 young sons. Clients at this time included the writers Joan Didion and John Gregory Dunn, who lived on the beach at Malibu. Ford appears in the documentary Joan Didion, The Center Will Not Hold. He and his wife became friends of the writers. Casting director and fledgling producer Fred Roos championed the young Ford and secured him an audition with George Lucas for the role of Bob Falfa, which Ford went on to play in American Graffiti, 1973. Ford's relationship with Lucas profoundly affected his career later. After director Francis Ford Coppola's film The Godfather was a success, he hired Ford to expand his office and gave him small roles in his next 2 films, The Conversation, 1974, and Apocalypse Now, 1979. In the latter film, Ford played an Army colonel named G. Lucas. Ford has been married 3 times and has 4 biological children and 1 adopted child. He was first married to Mary Marquardt from 1964 until their divorce in 1979. They had 2 sons, born 1966 and 1969. The oldest co-owns Ford's Filling Station, a gastropub located at Terminal 5 in Los Angeles International Airport. The younger son is the owner of Strong Sports Gym and was co-owner of the Kim Sing Theater and owner of the Ludwig Clothing Company. Ford's second marriage was to screenwriter Melissa Matheson from March 1983 until their separation in 2000 and divorce in 2004. They had a son, born 1987, and a daughter, born 1990. Matheson died in 2015. Ford began dating actress Callista Flockhart after they met at the 2002 Golden Globe Awards. He proposed to Flockhart over Valentine's Day weekend in 2009. They married on June 15, 2010, in Santa Fe, New Mexico, where Ford was filming Cowboys and Aliens. They are the parents of a son, born 2001, the son she adopted before meeting Ford.